Before the world screamed their names, before four lads from Liverpool became living legends, there was a quiet man behind the curtain. He didn't wear matching suits. He didn't stand on stage. But his touch turned raw demos into masterpieces. This is the untold story of the man who created the sound of the Beatles. The first meeting. In 1962, when George Martin first met the Beatles at Abbey Road Studios, he wasn't impressed. Their sound was rough, their manners cheeky, and their first drummer, Pete Best, didn't quite fit the beat. But there was something different, a spark that most producers would have ignored. Martin, trained in classical and comedy records, decided to give them a chance. That single decision changed music history. Within months, he replaced Pete with Ringo, guided their harmonies, and shaped their raw energy into melody. It was the beginning of a partnership that would rewrite every rule of pop recording. The experimenter. George Martin wasn't just a producer, he was an inventor. At a time when recording meant 4 tracks at most, he dared to push the limits. When Lennon asked for a sound of the universe exploding on a day in the life, Martin made it happen. He brought orchestras, tape loops, reversed guitar solos, and sounds no one had heard before. In Tomorrow Never Knows, he turned Lennon's voice into something cosmic. The Beatles provided the imagination, Martin turned it into sound. He was the silent architect behind their sonic revolutions. The bridge between worlds. Martin came from a world of order, classical, disciplined, refined. The Beatles came from chaos, clubs, cigarettes, and rhythm. Yet somehow he became their bridge. He translated their raw ideas into something the world could feel. When McCartney hummed the melody of Yesterday, Martin was the one who suggested strings. It became one of the most covered songs in history. Their chemistry wasn't always easy. Lennon challenged him, McCartney idolized him, but it worked, because Martin understood them better than anyone. The pressure cooker. By 1966, the studio became their battlefield and playground. George Martin had to manage 4 geniuses pulling in different directions. Lennon chasing surrealism, McCartney chasing perfection, Harrison seeking spirituality, Ringo just keeping peace. It was chaos wrapped in brilliance. Martin's calm voice, his patience, and his vision kept everything from falling apart. During Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, he orchestrated not just music, but egos. That album, often called the greatest of all time, was as much his as theirs. The quiet exit. As fame grew, so did the distance. The Beatles were no longer the boys Martin once guided. They were icons, sometimes unrecognizable to him. During the White Album, tensions flared, and Martin quietly stepped back. He wasn't fired, he simply wasn't needed the same way. But even in absence, his influence was everywhere. His sound, his balance, his invisible hand, it lived in every chord they played. The legacy. Years later, when asked about George Martin, Paul McCartney called him the 5th Beatle. Lennon, who often clashed with him, once admitted, "He taught us what we didn't know we needed to learn." From Love Me Do to Abbey Road, his fingerprint shaped every era of their evolution. Without him, the Beatles might have been just another band lost in the 60s wave. Instead, they became timeless, because a man in a suit believed in the sound of their dreams. When the last note faded and the lights went out, George Martin didn't chase fame. He let the music speak. He gave the Beatles wings, then watched them fly beyond even his imagination. And somewhere in Abbey Road's silent halls, you can still hear it, the echo of a genius who never needed the spotlight, because he was the sound itself.